Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson I will discuss the concept of the demand, which is one of the major component of the market. And the other major component of the market is supply, but I will discuss that concept in another video. So let us have a look what we are going to discuss or focus in this lesson. As a first point of this lecture, I will introduce you with the concept of the market, and then we will move towards the concept of the demand, which covers the definition of demand, law of demand, and also the reasons of the negatively sloped demand curve. As a last point of this lecture, I would like to introduce you with the concept of the reservation price and its connection with demand and the application of the cost benefit principle. So let me first introduce you with the concept of the market. Before moving towards the definition of market, let me ask one question. If you are thirsty and you want to drink a soda can, what you will do? In order to fulfill your want, you would like to purchase soda can, but from whom you have to purchase? You have to purchase it from the seller of the soda can. So in this example, you are performing the role of buyer, and the seller who is selling the soda can is basically performing the role of seller. So because of the presence of both buyers and sellers, the transaction of good actually takes place. Which is good is actually the soda can, right? So you exchange money with soda can, and that exchange of good takes place in between buyer and seller. So basically market is also a place where buyers and sellers they meet and the transaction of goods and services takes place. But market can be physical market. It can be in form of the physical market where you have to go and then you can buy goods and services. And markets can also be non-physical markets, like the markets on the internet, from where you can buy again goods and services. And your physical presence is actually not required to buy goods and services. And internet markets, the examples of the internet markets can be eBay, Amazon, or Alibaba Express, and there are many other internet markets from where you can buy goods and services using your internet connection without your physical presence. And the examples of the physical markets, you can take the example of the Carrefour, or you can take the example of vegetable markets, so where you need to go and in order to buy the goods and services. Okay, so the next point is to understand what is actually the motivation of purchasing and selling goods. So the motivation to purchase a good for a buyer is to get the benefit from using that good. So for example, again take the example of soda can. By purchasing that soda can, you want to you want to satisfy your thirst. That's why you are purchasing it. So the motive for a buyer to purchase a good is to get the benefit from that good, and the motive of the seller to sell his good or services to the buyer is to earn profit. And this is actually the only motive for a seller behind each sale of good, that he has to earn, he wants to earn profit. So there are two different motives for both buyers and sellers. The next point which you should understand here with regard to the market is the concept of the market price. Market price is a price which is acceptable for both buyers and sellers. This is a price where buyers they are ready to buy, and this is a price where sellers they are ready to sell. So market price basically makes a balance between the two forces of demand by the buyer and supply by the supplier. And the price is actually satisfactory for both of buyers and sellers. The next concept is the concept of demand for goods and services. Demand is the amount of good that buyers are willing to purchase, and they are also able to purchase at each possible price. So you can see here that there are basically two requirements that to create a demand for good. One is the willingness to purchase and the second one is the ability to purchase. So if any of these requirements are absent, then there will be no demand for goods and services. For example, again consider that you are thirsty and you want to buy a soda can. In that case, there is a willingness from your side to buy or purchase soda. But let us suppose that you just forgot your wallet at home. It means that you don't have ability to purchase. You don't have money to purchase. That's why there will be no demand for soda can from your side. On the other hand, if you have your wallet with you, but you are not thirsty and there is no willingness from your side to buy a soda can, so there will be no demand for soda can from your side. So it means that both willingness and ability to purchase create a demand for goods and services at each possible price. There is another definition which sometimes we consider to define demand, that it is the quantity of good that buyers would purchase at each possible price. It is more or less the same. So, but here we are just considering or connecting the quantity of good with the prices of good. So, in demand for a good can be defined as it actually explains the relation between the quantity demanded with the respective prices. The law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between the price of a good and the quantity of a good. So can we write it? Yes, we can write it. So there is a inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and the price. What does it mean? It means that if prices are higher, then the respective quantity demanded is going to be lower, and if prices are lower, the respective quantity demanded is going to be higher. Okay, so let us again try to read this statement. It states that there is an inverse relationship between the price of a good and the quantity of the good that buyers are willing to purchase in a defined period of time. So demand is always going to be defined for a specific period of time. And then ceteris paribus, the last word used here is the ceteris paribus. You are already familiar with this term. If not, then let me revise it again. Ceteris paribus is a Latin term and it means all else remains the same. Means all the other variables or factors that can also affect demand other than price, they are considered as constant. Means that they don't have any effect on the demand, and that's why we need this assumption of the ceteris paribus. For example, you know that income of a consumer can also affect the demand of goods and services. How? At higher income you can buy more, and at lower income you will demand less. But when we are defining law of demand, then we are only considering the effect of price on demand, or the effect of price on the quantity demanded, keeping all the other factors like income as constant, as ceteris under the term ceteris paribus. Okay, so you just have learned here that how we can define the law of demand that shows or explain the nature of relationship between prices and the quantity demanded. Now let us try to understand the working of the law of demand by using a numerical example. Let us suppose that we are in a pizza market, and here in this table, which is also known as the demand schedule, the prices of the pizza and the respective quantity for pizza are reported. So when price is low at 2 let us say $2 per pizza, then the total quantity demanded is 16, and when the price is 4, the quantity demanded is equals to 8. So when we transfer this information from this demand schedule on a graph, then we can have this graph like this, where we measure prices on the y-axis. Why? Because prices are considered as the independent variable, right? And on the other hand, quantity demanded on the x-axis, quantity demanded is the dependent variable. Why? Because the quantity demanded is depending on the prices. So when price is $2, the quantity demanded is equals to 16. So we will get this point. Let us say that it is A, and when prices are higher, or if price of pizza is going to increase from $2 to $4, then the quantity of pizza demanded is going to be half and can be denoted by point B. By combining these 2 points, we will have the demand curve, which is shown by this blue line, and you can see that this demand curve is actually the negatively sloped demand curve. So the next question is that can arise in your mind, that why there is a negative relation between the prices and the quantity demanded. Why not it is positive? So what are actually the factors that are responsible for this negative relation between prices and the quantity demanded of a good? So before discussing the factors that actually cause the negative relation between the prices and the quantity demanded, let us first try to interpret this demand curve by considering the horizontal and the vertical interpretations. Horizontal we can interpret the demand curve horizontally when we are given the prices, and at that price, if we need to find out the quantity demanded, then we can say that we are actually interpreting the demand curve or demand for a good horizontally. So again, take the same example of pizza market. When the price is $2, which is given, then at that price the demand curve will give you the quantity demanded equals to 16. And when price increases again from $2 to $4, or which is also given, then we can determine the demand by using the demand curve, which is $8. And in the same way, you can interpret the demand curve by starting from the quantities and then defining the prices. So if you are already having the quantity demanded for a good in the market, for example, the total demand for pizza in the market, it is 8 or 80 or 800 pizzas, then in that case, how much the sellers they can sell their pizza, 8 pizzas at what price? At a price of $4. In the same way, if the total quantity demanded for pizza is given as 16, then the price at which sellers they are ready to sell that pizza, it is going to be $2. Okay, You just have learned from the law of demand that there exists an inverse relation or a negative relation. That's why when we draw the demand curve, we always have a negatively sloped demand curve. So now we are going to consider the reasons or the possible explanation of that negative relation between prices and the quantity demanded. And we can understand that negative relation by considering the substitution effect, income effect, entire market effect, and the reservation price and the cost relation. Okay, so let us consider these reasons one by one. Okay, the first is the substitution effect. Substitution, in order to understand substitution effect, what do you need? You first need to understand the meaning of the substitute goods. What are the substitutes? Substitute goods are those goods that can be replaced with one another. That these are the goods which we can use. We can use with the replacement of the other goods. Okay, so for example, coffee and tea is an example of the substitute good. You can substitute coffee with tea, or you can substitute Fanta with Mirinda, or cola with Pepsi. These are the substitute goods. Or you can substitute juices with soda. So there are many different examples. Now it's your turn to consider some other substitute goods and try to write down in your notebook some examples of the substitute goods. Okay, come back to here on the substitution effect, which is one of the reason of negative relation between prices and the quantity. Okay, so for that, let us again consider the pizza market, right? And let us say that with the increase, if there is an increase in the price of the pizza, then what can be how the demand for pizza is going to respond to that increase in price of pizza. Of course, the demand for pizza is going to decrease. But how? We just have to look at the substitute of pizza. People can substitute pizza either with burger or maybe with bread. So it means that there are substitutes available for pizza. So whenever the price of the pizza is going to be higher, whenever the price of the pizza is higher, then people, they will decrease their demand by substituting pizza either with burger or bread with the cheaper good. Most of the time they always it should be always that they or people, they substitute an expensive good with the cheaper good. So when the price of pizza is increased, then it means that pizza become expensive for people. So so some of the people, they will start to consume or start to buy burger or bread instead of buying pizza. So this shows a decrease in demand with the increase in pizza. Okay, and that's why we can say the negative relation between demand and the prices can be understood by considering the substitution effect. You can again take the example of McDonald's meal and the meal offered on the Burger King. If the price of the let us say Happy Meal at McDonald's it will increase, then there are people who would like to buy the Happy Meal from the Burger King. Why? Because McDonald's Happy Meal become expensive for consumers, so they will substitute it with the Burger King's Happy Meal. Okay, so this is all about for the explanation of the negative relation between the prices and the respective quantity demanded of a good by considering the substitution effect. The second reason for having a negative relation or an inverse relation between the prices and the quantity demanded is the income effect. In order to understand income effect, we need an assumption that our income is fixed or the income of consumer or buyer is fixed. With this condition or with this assumption, if there is a change in price, then it will cause a change in demand. How? By increasing or decreasing the purchasing power of your fixed income. Okay, so here I think you need to know a term which is the real income. What is real income? Real income is basically the number of units which you can produce with the given income. Okay, so I think that it is going to be a little bit heavier, so it's time to make it little easier. And maybe some of you are already sleeping, so I think it is a better idea to purchase a cup of coffee. So let us move to the coffee market. Okay, so here what we need to assume at first, we need to assume that our income is fixed. And I am saying that the income I am denoting income with $2. Okay, so we have $2 and we just want to buy coffee by using these $2. And we are also interested to see that how many cups of coffee we can buy from this $2. With this $2, if the price of one cup of coffee, it is, let us suppose it is $1. Price of the coffee, it is $1. Then how many cups of coffee we can buy? We can buy 2 cups of coffee. Now these 2 cups of coffee is actually giving you the purchasing power of your income, which is $2. Or we can say that the real income is at a price of $1. It is equals to 2 cups of coffee. Okay, so it is going to be more easier if we just consider a change in price. So your income is fixed at $2, and what happened to the price? The price is now $0.50 per cup of coffee. So the price has decreased by $0.50. And your income, we have assumed that it remains at $2. It is not changing, right? So how many cups of coffee you can buy now with your income of $2, which is fixed? Now you are able to buy 4 cups of coffee, isn't it? It means that the purchasing power of your income, which is fixed, it has increased from 2 cups of coffee to 4 cups of coffee, isn't it? So I hope that now you can understand it more clearly by looking at this relation, that whenever there is an increase in price with the fixed real income, with the fixed income, not real income, money income. With the fixed income, if there is a decrease in price, then the real income or the purchasing power of your income, it will increase, which shows that you can purchase more. That's why when you are purchasing more, it means your demand for that good is going to be increased with the decrease in price. But the explanation of that increase in demand comes from the income effect. Okay, it is connected with the income effect because you can purchase more or because your real income has increased. That's why you are demanding more. In the same way, you can also understand the reverse situation by just starting with a price of $0.50, that if the price of the coffee cup is $0.50, then with the $2 of fixed income you can buy 4 cups. But if with this fixed in amount of income the price increases from $0.50 to $1, then in that case, your real income or your purchasing power is going to decrease. Why? Because you can only buy half quantity. You can only buy 2 cups instead of 4 cups. So this will shows a decrease in your real income or a decrease in your purchasing power. So you will purchase less, and that will cause that you are demanding. That shows that you are demanding less, but that decrease in demand is explained by considering the income effect. I hope that you have understood this concept uh, very well, because with this, by considering this coffee market example. So let us move to the next reason for having a negative or inverse relation between the quantity demanded and the prices of the good. Okay, the third reason for having an inverse relation between prices and the quantity demanded is the entire market effect. Entire market effect, you know that demand reflects the entire market, not the demand for a single consumer. So whenever there is a decrease in price, it will bring more buyers into the market. And further, when the prices are lower, then the existing buyers in that market, they can also purchase more. So let us try to understand it by using these diagram. The first one is that let us suppose that we are considering the coffee market, and you can see that these triangles are showing the existing buyers in this market that who are demanding coffee, and at a price of, let us say, $1. Then what happened that if price decreases, then from $1 to $0.50, then overall demand is going to be increased. Why? Because of the entrance of the new buyers in the coffee market, and also it is also possible that the existing buyers, they buy more. So whenever there is a change in price or a decrease in price, it will and there will be an increase in demand that can be explained by considering the entire market effect, by by considering the increase in the demand of the existing buyers, and also the entrance of the new buyers in the market at lower prices. And you can understand the vice versa condition, that whenever there is an increase in the price of a good, then there are some consumers who are going to leave the market because the good become expensive. The second reason is that it is also possible that the existing buyers, they at higher prices, they can only buy less amount of that good. So these are the three reasons for having an inverse relationship between the prices and the quantity demanded. There is another explanation for an inverse relation between the prices of the goods and the quantity demanded, and that comes from the comparison of the reservation prices and the cost of a good. Okay, so of course, this concept of reservation price is a new concept for you, but when I am going to explain it, then you will know that it is not a new one. It is just the name of something else with which you are already familiar. You have learned from the previous lessons that whenever you have to take a decision or an action, or if you want to purchase a good, you always, as an economist, you always apply the cost benefit principle by comparing both benefits with cost. And if the benefits of your purchase are greater than the cost of your purchase, then you will purchase or you will demand that good. Purchasing means that you are actually demanding that good. So now let us try to translate both benefits and cost in terms of numerical values. So cost can easily be transferred and into the numerical value by just considering the price of the good. So if you want to purchase a good and the price of the good is, let us suppose, $10, then the cost of that good is $10. So how can we measure benefits? Benefits are actually measured by the reservation price. So here comes the new concepts. So if you know the reservation price of a good, then it means that you know the value of the benefits. So let us now define the reservation price. What is reservation price? Reservation price is the highest or maximum price which a buyer or a consumer or an individual is willing to pay for a good. It is the maximum price which a buyer is willing to pay in order to buy that good. So, and how can we measure? So, in this way, we can say that we can measure benefits by just considering the buyer's reservation price. So problem is solved that we can express both benefits and cost of a good in terms of in numerical terms. Okay, and then what is left? After having the numericals value, we can compare both benefits with cost, and it will become easier for us to take a decision whether to buy or not, whether to demand a good or not. Okay, I just have translated that this all concept here, that whenever you are going to demand a good, you always compare benefits, a cost benefit principle, and if benefits are at least greater than the cost, you will purchase. Where benefits can be defined by the reservation price, and the reservation price is actually the maximum amount of price which a buyer is willing to pay, and the cost is just the price, actual price which you are paying. So there is a question now again, that reservation price is also a price and price of a good is also a price. So how can we make a difference between them? It will be more clear if we consider a numerical example. Let us suppose that you wants to buy let us say that a mobile, and the maximum price which you are willing to pay, willing to pay in order to buy that mobile is just $150. Okay, this is the maximum price where for which you are willing this is the price which you are willing to pay. This is the maximum price. Okay, maximum price. So it is actually showing your reservation price. So what is your reservation price to buy a mobile? It is 150. So now you are going to a shopping mall, right? Or just let us say that you are at Max and now you have to buy your favorite mobile for which you are ready to pay 150, and then at the shop you just become to know that the price, there is a promotion, and now the price, the actual price which you have to pay, it is $100. Okay, So in that case, the maximum amount of price which you are willing to pay is 150, which also equals to the benefits, which also showing the benefits, right, in numerical terms. And the cost is 100. So if you apply the cost benefit principle here, then you can say that the benefits are greater than the cost, isn't it? So will you buy this mobile? Yes, you will buy. Mean that there is a demand for mobile from your side, so you will purchase. Understand? On the other hand, let us consider another situation, that the maximum amount which you are willing to pay, it is 150, right? But the actual price is, let us say, it is not 100, it is 200. So in this case, what is the situation here? Here, the benefits become lower than the cost, isn't it? So will you demand that mobile or not? No, you will not demand. So there is a decrease in the demand for the mobile in the market. Why? Because your cost is greater than your reservation price. Your reservation price is lower. On the other hand, let us say that if your reservation price is 150 and the cost is also 150. So in that case, both benefits and cost, they become equal. So your reservation price is equals to the cost of the good. So you will again demand that mobile. Is it clear? So buyers basically they value goods differently. When the price of a good, which is the cost of the good, increases, then it satisfies the cost benefit test for fewer buyers, and which implies a downward or negative slope, means that there are different buyers have different reservation price. My reservation price, for example, is 150. Your reservation price maybe it is 200. It can be 200. Or maybe there are some other students who have higher and higher reservation price. Or some of you maybe have a lower reservation price, lower than 150. So for those who have higher reservation price, which is actually the benefit, then the cost, for them the cost benefit principle satisfy, so they will demand. But if there is an increase in the price and your reservation price become lower than the price of the mobile, then you will decrease your demand. You come out of that market. You will not demand. So with the increase in the price, if your if the increased price is greater than your reservation price, you will not demand. So what you have learned here, that if you just look at this table here, then you can see that the cost benefit principle is satisfied for you at a price when the price of the mobile is 100 and when the price of mobile is 150. So in both for both of these prices, the cost benefit principle is satisfied for you. That's why you actually demand. right? You demand. Why? Because cost benefit principle is satisfied here. Here the benefits are greater and here the benefits are equal. So the condition of at least greater than cost is satisfied. But what about the second case, where you can see that where the cost benefit principle does not satisfy, right? Here, why? Because benefits are lower. So the cost benefit principle is not satisfied here when the price increases more. That shows an increase more than your reservation price. So in that case, you will come out of that market. You will decrease your demand. So when the price increases, it satisfies the cost benefit test for fewer buyers, right? So because of the increase of price, cost benefit principle is satisfied for fewer buyers for whom the reservation price is higher than the actual cost. They will show their demand, and all the other customers or all the other people who actually wants to buy that good, but because of the increase in price, their reservation price become lower than the actual price. That's why they are not going to demand. They are not able to buy that good because of the lower reservation price. So that's why with the increase in price, some of the customers or some of the buyers, they leave the market, and that shows a decrease in the demand, and that decrease in demand because of the increase in prices comes from, we have understand that by considering the reservation price concept of the consumer or buyer. So that's all for this concept of the connection of reservation price and the cost by with the connection of application with the connection of cost benefit analysis, that how this analysis is using the reservation price to measure benefits, and then how we can explain the decrease in demand by using the concept of the reservation price. I hope that you have understood this concept. If you like this video, then please thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. And if you further want to see more videos, then you are welcome to mention in the comment box below the video. And for further videos, you can go to my YouTube channel where you can find different videos on different topics in economics. Thank you.